Hello, people. Welcome to this GreenFire. Today is August 24th, and here we are. It's a beautiful day. Just got back from a pretty special event. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The weather is pretty good. It's nice and cool, about 78 degrees. Still, we got sunshine, and we had a little rain this morning, so everybody in eastern Iowa was pretty happy because we got some rain, and we sure needed it, and we got rain again on Monday. So it's a blessing to have the rain in this dry season. So today we're going to pretty much fly like wings, put some wings on this little thing here and raise it up, reach some elevation, do some levitation. And we're going to maybe fly like a kite, right? We fly right on up to this higher, beautiful experience that we're having in this circle around here. And as this electronic fire is a campfire for everybody, may wherever you are be lit with a little bit of love in your life, a little bit of sparkle in your eye, and a joyous, gentle smile. As in these times, that's enough for one day. So let us lift and lighten up our spirit, and take the golden eternity of this hour and do some deep diving. And in that sense, we will take a journey around the universe, because what I mentioned earlier is I have just returned from the total solar eclipse, which is the first one across the entire United States since 1919, 99 years ago, actually 1918. And so it's 99 years since the last total solar eclipse across America. And I was down in Columbia, Missouri with many people from this area, and we gathered in a pretty much a 100th monkey convergence. I would call it the harmonic convergence, right in the heart of the heartland, and had a totality. Totality is when the sun is totally eclipsed, and there's a 2 minutes of total, what's called totality, where there's no light emanating from the sun because it's in total solar eclipse. So we had two minutes of totality, and in that 2 minutes, it was almost like an entire lifetime, looking up through the universe into what I perceive to be a higher universe. And this light once the sun was still in it, this light would be emanating through the higher universe, through the middle universe, down into the earth-verse. From the omniverse to the universe to the earth-verse. And there was a celestial hymn being played both by the angels on earth and the choir of angels in the higher heavens. And I can't say it in any other ways or any other words. It was just a tremendous immersion into sacred synchronicity that bound us, all of us who were there, into a 100th monkey event, which was kind of like in physics. It's when you have a new paradigm shift. And that was a moment when the paradigm shifted into a call for earth regeneration. And there's a book called The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, and by Thomas Kuhn. He talks about the paradigm shift. And when you have you reach a quantum mass of consciousness in one place, it becomes a critical mass, which becomes a quantum mass, which becomes then an awareness, an emergence of a new consciousness. And then that critical mass, it becomes from monkey 99 or 99th monkey to a 100th monkey event, which means a breakthrough of awareness, what's called, in scientific terms, a paradigm shift. And in that sense, the entire planet, where this critical mass appeared, went through a paradigm shift, which was, at this particular place, was Columbia, Missouri, but it was also out in Oregon, all the way across Idaho, Wyoming, a little bit of Nebraska, Missouri, all the way out to South Carolina. Tennessee was involved. and this little ribbon of totality went across the country. Probably millions of people were tracking it or participating in it one way or another. We had these little glasses where you had ISO approved, and you couldn't look up at the sun without these glasses. They were so dark, it was just unbelievable. And when you have an annular eclipse, they say that the sun is 100 times darker, right? Well, during a total solar eclipse, the sun is 1,000,000 times darker. That's 1,000,000 times. So that's truly a 100th monkey event. And when you reach critical mass, which this particular event is, there's a quantum leap called a quantum shift or quantum leap. Once you reach a critical mass, and people in meditation know about it as well, you reach a quantum leap, critical mass, and you affect consciousness. And this critical mass created a quantum leap in consciousness, especially about regeneration. And the night before, when I was there, I met a lot of people, and we all got together and we converged from wherever we came from, and we became a circle of one. And right toward the end of our gathering, everybody said, just almost telepathically, everybody said, "Purge, purge, purge." And that was the cry that went through the evening. And what they were meaning was purge ourselves of all the old effluent, detritus, dross. Drop it off. Purge, let it go. Let's have a clean tabula rasa, a clean slate, a clean script, a clean memory field. So like that was a purging event. So purge is a root word for purgatory. So we went through the night before was essentially a purgatory, a purging event. And in one way of looking at it, it was a dark night of the soul. And this went on up through when the beginning of the solar eclipse. And then the dark night of the soul gave way to a starry night, like in Vincent van Gogh's painting, Starry Night, because the sun was eclipsed and it was dark. And at some places you could see the stars in the midday at 1 in the afternoon. So it became a starry night during totality. So a purging event into a starry night, a purgatory. So that was in preparation for the starry night. And then the sense of a critical mass of quantum leaping. A quantum leap was a critical mass. That's quantum leaping, and so we experienced the critical mass into the quantum leaping, and that critical mass led into a quantum shift. And in Catholic sense, a critical mass would be a mass on the earth itself, a mass on the planet, which mystics would understand from the Gaia perspective. And that led into a vita nuova, a new life, a new earth, a new planet, a rebirth, a planetary rebirth that begins with loving kindness and gratitude and regeneration, and also a restoration of mirth on earth. So in that particular confluence of these events, it was also the 30th, almost to the day, anniversary of the harmonic convergence, which was really quite an event in 1987. And it was also almost to the day the 48th anniversary of Woodstock. And this solar event was, in its own way, was during the Summer of Love, was a solarized Woodstock where people gathered with a light in their eyes. You could tell that they had traveled from all over the world. We had people there from Finland, Norway, Germany, Africa, England, and this little hotel. We all gathered at the Comfort Inn, and it was a Comfort Inn once we found it, and we settled right in, and then it became then 100th Monkey planetary event for this quantum leap. And so we went from the purgatory event the night before, we purged ourselves, and then we prepared to receive the new opening, the nuova, vita nuova, new life. And in that then, we received this light that emanated through the omniverse into the universe, into the earth plane, with this totality. And then we brought that, activated the Templars within ourselves, and then slowly did a snail crawl back home with the help of Macon, Missouri, and arrived on I-80 coming into Johnson County in Iowa City. We were greeted by 2 rainbows on either side of the interstate. So we were riding the rainbow wave right back into home again, with this having arrived at a new birth of ourselves and a planetary life itself through regeneration. And this regeneration, each one reach one. So this is the beginning of that kind of dialogue, that kind of momentum, where we accelerated the frequency beyond the speed of light, where we slow the earth down to no noise, no white noise, entered the black hole of the omniverse and received totality, which is known as Syzygy. This is an umbra, the overshadowing effect of the ethers, the overcurrents of the ethers through the overshadowing of Syzygy, which in another sense, if you want to go into physics and spirituality, it would be called the kenosis, where we were emptied out, and where we went into the lowest level in order to reach the highest level, which is kenosis, and then apotheosis, and then earth ascending. Once the totality is complete after the 2 minutes, there's a diamond ring effect as the sun breaks through from the darkness of the eclipse. There's a bright shining light like a diamond ring effect, and then that's a marriage of heaven and earth, a marriage of life at Omega, the marriage of Alpha and Omega. It's a marriage of heaven and earth, much like the poet Blake talked about. And this, for many, many reasons, this synchronization wave beam is a once-in-a-lifetime event. And if we were to sit on this continent here, this would be once every 365 years that the possibility that where we're sitting that this would occur. And good news, there's going to be another total solar eclipse in April of 2024. It'll come up from Texas, go through the boot heel of Missouri, and go through Ohio, all the way up to and through Maine. So stay tuned. You have a chance and an opportunity to become part of the total solar eclipse coming in less than 7 years. It'll be April of 2024. And going into this solar eclipse, I had no expectations or no knowledge or awareness of what it's going to be. And people the night before, we all said what we thought it would be, and we were all elevated and excited, exalted actually, and for many reasons, many dreams converging on one. And I spelled solar eclipse before going into it, S-O-L-A-R. And dear friend, coming out of it, I spell solar S-O-U-L-A-R. Because I'm just returning, it's called re-entry. And being greeted coming into Johnson County with 2 rainbows on either side of the interstate is like riding the rainbow wave home. That's totally in synchronization with the the total solar eclipse itself. And so, as I mentioned, the quantum shift, when you reach critical mass, there's quantum leaping, and there's definitely leaping in that 2-minute totality. And just as I sat down here this afternoon, it just hit me like a wave beam that was Earth ascending. And so it's kind of like purge ourselves from all of our fears, letting our fears go. And there's many salesmen and media wonks and politicians out there that just want to push fear all day long. And that's not going to happen. This wave beam is Earth ascending, and that light is brighter than any, will shine through any darkness. So, dear friend, wherever you're at, let the light shine through any darkness that may be around. And in this convergence, this harmonic convergence, may it spread out through the golden eternity of this hour of this electronic campfire into your alcove, wherever you are with your loved ones, your friends, your heart song, which is more important than anything else on this earth, is your heart song. And may it shine in radiance as the continuance of the summer of love shines on. And there's a little affirmation that we might want to ask ourselves. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, dear friend. So this is a backdrop. As I mentioned, I've just returned, so a lot of this is just from the dream time itself, is pretty much from the collective unconscious. So we're talking archetypal Om, and that is, as mentioned before, when the Syzygy effect, that's a shadow. That's known as an umbra, total darkness, or like an umbrella, as a shadow effect. And that is much like the reappearance of the Christ. If you can image the shroud, well, the Syzygy of this total solar eclipse in totality is the shadow effect of the shroud, of the reappearance of the Christ. So the Christ consciousness was part of this event. Whether people are aware or unaware, the totality of the event in the Nawal and Tonal at the assemblage point where we set our intent, that was a reappearance of the Christ consciousness within each person, being aware or unaware. And that's the shroud effect of the Syzygy. Syzygy is spelled S-Y-Z-Y-Z-G-Y. S-Y-Z-Y-Z-G-Y. Syzygy. Well, that's a really good word for today, because the shroud effect then allows for the emptying out, as I mentioned. Everybody telepathically just said purge. So we purged ourselves the night before, which would be in purgatory, the shroud effect, and then up through the earth plane, up through the lunar plane, up through the solar plane into the universe, and then the omniverse. This light comes straight down in totality. So we set our intent: loving kindness, peace, plenty, tilth, abundance. May peace prevail upon earth in the rainbow hoops of all the nations, red, yellow, black, and white. We accelerate that frequency in the template that we're setting at this harmonic convergence of totality. In the Nawal and Tonal, we set the intent at the assemblage point. And we do soul retrieval, which we are doing, and retrieving all dispersed energy. That is the purge effect, retrieving dispersed energy. So all that retrieval of dispersed energy from different parts of our lives, childhood, teachers, school, education, playground, friends, losses, loved ones, enemies, painful events, all of that we retrieve, this dispersed energy, this lost energy. And then we breathe it in. We just breathe it in. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. And this was set like in the heart of the heartland. So this was the, if you look at it, it was like in the screen effect, it was like the compass, north, south, east, and west. This would be in the true heart center. The true heart center of that compass is right here where we were in Columbia, Missouri. And so the song that we sang, whether it was out loud or silently in our inner being, was a heart song emanating out. Visualize this heart song: peace, plenty, tilth, abundance, loving kindness, emanating out from this heart song of this compass here in the heart of the heartland, bi-coastally out to both coasts, north up into Canada, south into Mexico and Central America, Latin America, and then east and west, across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, to Africa, to Europe, to Asia, to India, to Saudi Arabia, again like to Africa, to Micronesia, to Polynesia, to Australia, to the Antarctic, clear to the Arctic, to the North Pole, to the South Pole. Because as I mentioned, it is a polarized, solarized event. Both our inner and outer North Pole and our inner and outer South Pole, like the tree of life from the root chakra at the base of our spinal cord, right on up through the crown of creation. So this solarized event went right through our crown of creation. Our not only our Edi Pingala, but also our own Kiva, right? So this is a Kiva, our own Kiva, which is the crown of creation, which is where we receive divine energy and the solar wind of divinized light of the crown of creation consciousness. And then this light goes right through our tree of life, which is our our spinal cord, and the different chakras, the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar, that's really cool. Our belly button, our solar plexus, and then our root chakra, which is at the base of our spine. So the regenerative part was at the root of our spine, and then this goes spiraling up as this goes, and then there's a spiraling down through the crown of creation, through the third eye, through the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, the root chakra. So one is energy spiraling up, another is energy spiraling down through the crown of creation from the omniverse. And this is then provides the double helix of the DNA from a 12-stranded DNA, and that is the tree of life, and that is right in the heart of the universe, the heart song. All right, and then that allows us to ride the Zavuya, which is this wave of consciousness, riding the Zavuya, which is a Mayan way of, when I mentioned we were riding the rainbow wave home, we were riding the Zavuya wave, which is a galactic event, which comes from the heart of the galaxy, of this particular galaxy, which is the Milky Way, which is the Alcyone center. And then we ride the Zavuya right on back with this double encoded DNA, 13-string physics harmonics going through like a composition, a divinized composition of solar energy for the music of the spheres. And this is all happening on the plane of silence. This is all archetypal, and most people are open, they're looking up, and they're receiving that third eye light. Because this awakens, it comes through the crown of creation, but it awakens and activates the third eye light, the light of the third eye, which is loving kindness, which then filters down through our throat song, which is the music of the spheres as we sing or do music, and then it moves right into our heart, which is our heart song. And there it resides in the temple unknown, and in the chalice in the chalice well. And Merlin and Guinevere and Galahad and King Arthur all knew this round dance, because it's centered around the eclipses and natural events. So this was, like I said, right on the 48th anniversary of Woodstock, 30th anniversary of the harmonic convergence, and in a sense you could call it solar hinge, because this is solarized light of encounter of the third eye kind. A solarized light encounter of the third eye kind. And this is way beyond the science fiction and the way beyond the West of Close Encounters and all the sci-fi Star Wars stuff. This was Starry Night stuff. And this is where the angels of delight, both on earth and on the celestial plane, all gathered that night in the continuance of the day, right on up again, up and through, and right on up and through and beyond and down and through the earth plane and the celestial plane. Truly a marriage of heaven and earth. And again, having just returned from this event, I am just getting my feet on the ground for re-entry onto this earth plane, because we were taken onto an astral plane. Not only third dimension, we were taken to the fourth dimension, fifth, sixth, and activated on the seventh dimensional plane. There was another eighth and ninth dimension where we energized some cloud shapes on the eighth and ninth dimension, where consciousness is living and was yet to be realized. And so this is all part of the human divine design. And it's could be called Dasein, a raison d'etre for Dasein, a reason for being, for the existence of the gratitude of being here now. And being here now is just the being present to being here now. The present and the presence of being here now. And a lot of people took this 2 or 3 days as a holiday and went to these places of gathering. And so we got there in a secular, in a profane way. And soon we began, once we were there, realizing that this is a sacred event. And so this holiday unfolded into what can only be known as a holy day. Not to be captured or labeled or categorized by any religion or any dogma. This was a planetary holy day. Not a Catholic holy day, not a Hindu or Buddhist holy day, or Native American holy day, or a Sikh or Jain or Jewish or Islam. It was beyond all the monotheistic religions. It was the earth religion holy day. A holy day of the spirituality of all things and all beings. And in mentioning the angels of earth, we're in harmonic convergence with the angels, the celestial realm angels. There was that harmonic convergence was a gathering. It was a gathering, or you could call it a conference of birds, a gathering of all beings, from the past, the present, and the future. So this is where time stops itself and steps aside and looks at the transit, the galactic celestial transit of the continuum and the conjunction of the harmonic convergence of all the beings that ever lived, all the beings that are alive now, and all the beings that will ever live. And that harmonic convergence were gathered in this energy confluence of this synchronization wave beam. That is what is meant by the quantum leap of this 100th monkey event, or this critical mass event. In a conscious manner, this critical mass literally was a mass on the planet, a planetary mass event. Now that is in the sense of the Mass of the Catholic Church. It was a prayer for all life. So this critical mass on the profane became a quantum leaping of a planetary mass on the spiritual plane, a mass for the earth. And there was a archetypal music of the spheres and a song for Gaia, and it came through on many levels, and even in the birds themselves. In the morning, we were in the middle of the city. I looked across at a park, and these hawks were swirling round and round like this is the center of the galaxy, and they were showing the divine whirlwind experience that was going to become one as the totality approached. And I looked up on one of the wires, telephone wires, and there was a dove sitting there in the early morning. And I'd awakened early, about 5:30, and I looked out the window and I saw this most unusual sunrise. And it was very much like this, like this background here. It was red and yellow and purple and pink, and kind of a nebulous swirl. And above are these clouds that look like pillows, like puffy clouds, and a whole ceiling of these puffy clouds were right across the entire ceiling of the sky room. And the best way to look at it is if you're in an airplane and you're flying real high, say 37,000 feet, and you look down and you see this whole floor of clouds, this whole carpet of clouds that are all laid out before you in little puffies. Well, that looked like this morning sky, only inverse, like we were literally, where you're looking up at these clouds that were like that, was like you were looking down from above the clouds, looking up at the clouds. It was a very inverted effect, looking upside down, and with that sunrise of that very kind of a swirling fire, yellow, purple, red, pink, is literally upside down Hayoka event. Okay, the divine trickster was at work at play in the sky painting at dawn, and this Hayoka showed up, and then the spirit birds later showed up, the hawks and the eagles. They're swirling around this, right in the middle of the city, right around this circle, right in front of us where this park was, saying this is where this event's going to be, in preparation. And if you pay attention to these signs, when you're aware of an alignment like this, then they take on totemic and archetypal reality. That's where the symbols become real. And these spirit birds are flying and showing us the divinized dimensions of what we're about to experience. Again, having mentioned that you cannot prepare for this, so no words can say, you just have to experience it. And having given some sketches and word pictures of the outpicturings of what this event was in that experience, hopefully this allows you to understand that we're all part of the tree of life, and that tree of life lives within us. And it is our obligation to unfold into this tree of life our own gifts of what we're given as our birthright, and to follow your passion. And if that means with some love and rage, let it so be it. So mote it be. With love and rage, amor y rabia. With love and rage, we can get out of the iron cage of our ego and be free as those birds swiftly swirling in the spiral dawn of enlightenment. And that was the night before, again, having mentioned that we all said purge. So in a sense, we were doing atonement. And purging ourselves is a form of an atonement. When we atone, which is meaning fasting, we atone, we're at some level on a pilgrimage. So we do atonement through purging. And then the next day dawns and we see this most unusual sunrise, having just given that description. And then we look at these swirling birds, these hawks swirling around, showing us the one. And then we go into the solar eclipse, and that's like 2 hours from 11:15 to 1:15. Then at 1:15 we go into the totality of the solar eclipse, when the sun is totally blacked out. Then we go into at one-ment. So we go from atonement of the purge of purgatory right into the totality, into at one-ment, and then the light shines and we see the diamond ring, and it shines us our divinized radiance of our own inner truth, a marriage of heaven and earth. And then at this moment, the harmonic convergence is activated, and we realize Earth is in ascension. We are in ascension, Earth ascending into regeneration. And that's for the 7th generation yet to come. That's for the 7th generation yet to come. So that at one-ment, going through atonement and purging and purgatory, and then we come in that atonement, and then we come into at one-ment, when the totality is, and we are all there's an at one-ment through the Sizji effect, the shroud of Turin, into the ascension, Earth ascending. And so it's like when you roll away the stone. Okay, so you're standing there, and then they roll away the stone, and you look up, and you realize you're ascending, and your being is resurrected. There's a resurrection of your own inner being. This is a planetary mindset shift, a totality of a quantum shift, and a leaping effect into ascending, into higher purpose, into regeneration, into a new generation. And at that moment, through this marriage of heaven and earth, and this diamond ring of light, there is the 7th generation yet to come is being born. The 7th generation yet to come is being born. And there is vita nuova, that is new life, an inner consciousness of the collective, an inner awareness of the consciousness of new life, awakening, a new birth on earth. That's for this generation. And having reflected on the past generations, on the ancients, so we give honor to the elders and those that have departed, and for the 7th generation yet to come. So that's all the generations, all of them on this beautiful little water planet, this speckled little blue planet called Mother Earth, Gaia, this beloved water planet. It's a regeneration for all the generations having been reflected on, for the 7th generation yet to come. When this is all in this alignment, and so the perception has opened, the doors of perception have opened, and this Syzygy of the eternal divinized mind, this at one-ment, then it sets in motion, like the Oracle of Delphi, sending out a message which is activating the temple of regeneration on earth. The temple activating regeneration, earth rebirthing, earth regeneration. And then that Syzygy, that ionic sphere, but beyond that is the ion. And that Syzygy of the ion is the roll-right stones. The stones roll away from the sepulcher of the old self. And then the new birth of the new self. And then the roll away the stone, regeneration, rebirth, resurrection, ascension, regeneration, ascension, rebirth on earth. And so we're actively participating in a planetary midwifery for rebirth of life on earth, rebirth of earth itself into mirth. So play and light and novelty is serious business, folks, because it's required as part of our human dynamics. Play and delight and wonder, a sense of wonder, curiosity, joy, and surprise are essential. They're not negotiable, and they're not debatable. These are part of the earth ship of life, dancing throughout the cosmos. So this is a cosmic event, and in the ancient Greek cosmos Indo-Plutinos, moving from the profane to the sacred, and then re-entry time, traveling north or south, whichever way, back to our home, and then being greeted, coming up, and then coming down I-80, traveling east, and then being greeted with divinized light of rainbows on either side of the interstate, like riding the rainbow wave home. Riding the rainbow wave home. This was the greeting from Gaia through that synchronicity of the totality of the solar eclipse into re-entry into the local biopsychic field of where we live. That's wherever we go, there's a biopsychic field. To call it geocartography or biocartography or astrocartography. That's where we line up. That's where where we live, our home. And so that greeting of the biopsychic field of astrocartography on the local level of re-entry, coming through the rainbow gates, and then entering into Johnson County and then Lynn County and all these parts around here. That is a truly great blessing. So I believe I've given a little bit of my kind of planetary weather report. So when you, as I get, this is called a decompression, debriefing from this solarized event. And then we breathe in. Breathe in love. Breathe out peace. Breathe in peace. Breathe out love. Love for our fellow sisters and brothers. Love for ourselves. Love for our enemies. Love for all human beings. Red, white, yellow, black. Love for all human beings. Men, women, gay, straight, sexual, absent, non-sexual. Love for all beings, all human beings. And then realizing an awareness that whispers in, there is no them. There is no other. We're all on this earth ship together. Red, yellow, black, and white. Love is all there is. All you need is love. There is no them. There is no other. We're all part of one another. The first love is love. Love ourselves, love one another. And through that, we breathe in love. Thinking of our sister and brother, sending out love to where it's needed, to our aunts, our uncles, our mothers, our fathers, our friends, our brothers, our sisters, our kids, grandkids, nephews, nieces, uncles, aunts, their friends, their neighbors, their associates, sending out love to where it is needed, breathing in love, sharing it within our own heart where we need it, and having that love return to us sevenfold in our hearts, breathing in love, breathing out love, breathing in love, breathing out love, breathing in love, breathing out love. Love is all there is. May peace prevail upon earth. Breathing in peace, breathe out peace. May peace prevail upon earth in the rainbow hoops of all the nations, red, yellow, black, and white. May peace prevail upon earth in the rainbow hoops of all the nations. Breathing in love, breathing out peace. Breathing in love, breathe out peace. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. We breathe love all around us. Now, beauty before us, beauty behind us, beauty above us, beauty below us, beauty beside us, beauty all around us, beauty all way, way, way around us, beauty all way around us, round and round and round and round and round us, beauty all way around us, beauty all way around us, beauty all way around us in all ways. Now I walk in beauty. The beauty way. When I was at Columbia in the morning of the solar totality, of the solar eclipse, that was the 21st of August, a very sacred day for many, many reasons. A sacred day, August 21st. If you want to know on your calendar or the planetary mind or the planetary calendar, August 21st is a sacred day. So I wrote this little thing, and we'll see if we can understand it. First thing I wrote, sitting outside with other people, waiting to enter into the beginning of the solar eclipse. Peace of universe. Peace of universe in omnipresence. Peace of universe in omnidirection. Peace of universe in omnisentience. Peace of universe in omnipoetics. Peace in universe in omnipax Christi. Peace of universe, Om. Omnia alaya vijnana sat guru arhat maitreya tattvam asi. And may the wisdom of the elders allow us to say that sharing is what is needed on planet Earth. Simply sharing. This is the end of the era of the age of greed. This is the end of it. This is the end of the age of greed. This is in the quantum shift of the quantum leaping. Through this paradigm shift, this is the beginning of the age of sharing. The age of cooperation, the age of community. The age of sharing. What it is to be community. The age of sharing. No more grief for greed. Greed is washed away. This is the beginning of the age of sharing. This 821 conduit transit into the higher purpose, 821:17. That is a great gift. So these are the early harmonics of that morning. We'll cover them again. That morning in Colombia, near the Missouri River, there's a peace of the universe. May peace of the universe live in your heart in omnipresence. May peace of the universe live in your heart in omnidirection. May peace of the universe live in your heart in omnisentience. May peace of the universe live in your heart as a rebirth of mirth on earth in omnipoetics. May peace of the universe live in your heart in omnipax Christi. May peace of the universe live in your heart in Om. Omnia alaya vijnana. Omnia sat guru arhat. Omnia maitreya. Omnia water bearer. Omnia water planet. Omnia tattvam asi. Thou art that. And in that understanding, we come to allow to divine directions. And we look up at the great blue sky in this summer of love and breathe in the great blue sky by the sun and the green. The great blue sky by the sun and the green, and we send energy and love to those who passed on. Our loved ones, maybe our brothers or family members who passed on, our parents, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends. We send love and energy to those who passed on in the great blue sky by the sun and the green. And we realize again, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. Ask what makes you come alive. What is your passion, dear friend? Let that be your journey. The journey of joy for all of this life is truly an immense journey. If there's anything to be said, we are all along upon this immense journey. And in this immense journey of this blessed water planet, you can see that the largest brain that was ever created on this blessed water planet And inside the largest brain that was ever created on this blessed water planet lies a 10 million year old smile. A 10 million year old smile. Ah, wail. Wailing in the golden saxophone of the foam of the deep blue sea. The whale consciousness, alive with a 10 million year old smile. And there was, this is a celestial blessing in going to this harmonic convergence, totality, ecliptic event. And it's a celestial blessing, dear friend, in order to be grateful of going through this synchronicity wave beam and then being greeted with these double rainbows, riding the rainbow wave, bringing it all back home. And in that sense, we, by osmosis, we connect up with others and everyone shares in our joy. That's the beautiful synchronicity wave of understanding of the 99th and 100th monkey, as we're all in this together. And when we reach critical mass, guess what? We all get it. Not just the one who reached it, we all get it. It's like if one gets it, we all get it. So we're a new human species. Dear friend, many don't know this, but we have burst the bubble of the solar system. We are now, as a species, all of us, humanity, are traveling in interstellar space for the first time in all of humanity. Earth wave, planetary mind, at one-ment, totality, one-ment. And guess what? We're all now in this harmonic of this critical mass of this. Look up the 100th monkey. You'll find it very interesting. It does have a lot to do with physics. So 100th monkey effect is now we quantum leap. We have a new species, a new awareness. 100th monkey means we've arrived at a new species, a nuova event, vita nuova event, a new life. We are now interstellar beings. All right? So let's travel a little bit with me here. In July 20th, 1969, we landed on the moon. All right? That's the first, for that decade, it was a decade of the 60s. It was one of the climax cathedrals of that entire 60s, one of the climax cathedral events. When we landed on the moon, that was a spiritual awakening, seeing the earth from the moon for the first time. It was the whole earth we saw for the first time. And then we sent out a probe called the Voyager. And that probe went out in the 70s and visited Mars, and then it visited Jupiter, and then it visited Saturn, and then it visited Uranus, and then it visited Neptune, each one with a boomerang effect, kind of a whipping effect to send it on to the next planet with greater acceleration frequency, greater speed. And then it drifted. It drifted for years, 95, all the way through 99, all the way through 2000, 2004, 2008, 2000. And then in 2012, there was a bursting of the solar system bubble. And Voyager went out for the first time into interstellar space, making us the first human beings to become interstellar beings. And with that, dear friends, I want to say, collapsing and this harmonic convergence of this totality event, may that totality of at one live in the center of your heart and your life and your mind. And may all of your friends receive the same energy field of the 100th monkey effect of a new human being that we all are birthed on this solar eclipse, a planetary rebirth into interstellar beings. And with that little gift of a breath of joy, may that circle in your heart for a long time to come. And so the fires of the GreenFire community live within ourselves and within one another. And with that, I wish you very much a deep peace.